The next test starts on Friday in Vizag. I can't possibly pronounce the entire place. I couldn't do it because I wouldn't know. What do England do? How do they sort this 11 out? Does Jack Leach play? Is he going to be fit? They said it's a hematoma, which is obviously a bit of an internal bleed, isn't it? Which causes a bit of a lump and a nasty bruise. That doesn't actually go down that quick from experience. Does Jimmy come back into the team? Shoaib Bashir is available. Do they still go 3 spinners? Because I think genuinely, I think they pretty much got the selection spot on for the first test. But yeah, where do you think they go?
Yeah, I think they have to monitor Jack Leach, I would say. But at the same time, they know how important he is to the team and the match-winning performances that he can put in, and going 2-0 up would be massive. But then at the same time, you know that you want him to play the majority of the series. So I think that feels like it's their biggest question mark, is what I would probably say. I don't know if there's a case for potentially swapping out Wood for Jimmy, maybe. But if it's anything like the, I guess, dominance of the use of spin, how crucial is that fifth bowler and seamer? I feel like, playing the 3 main spinners and then obviously the addition of Root is, you feel like that's how the series is going to go, to be quite frank. But yeah, it could be worth bringing Jimmy in.
Yeah, I think so. As I say, I think they got it spot on with this one. And I know at points, at hindsight, people were kind of questioning why Anderson wasn't there, particularly after that first innings. Clearly, Anderson's seam was going to be much better than what Rayan and Tom Hartley were serving up. But as it turns out, it's worked. I think they stick with Rayan just because he does provide that variability, particularly with the tail as well. Like they look a little bit flappy, don't they, the tail? And having a guy that can turn the ball big both ways could be really important with getting rid of like 9, 10, 11. And I think he's only going to get better as the series goes on. I think India will continue to target him, mind you, but I think he'll get better. I'd like to see Anderson in, and I think at the moment I'd like to see Anderson in for Mark Wood. I think Anderson's got as much of a chance of bowling reverse swing better than what Mark Wood has. So I'd like to see that move, but I understand why they went that way around in the first test. If Jack Leach can't play, and as you said, it's probably better Jack Leach plays 1, 3, 4, and 5 rather than 1, 2, and then done. Where do they go? I don't know whether Shoaib Bashir comes in. I don't know whether he does. Although, how can you predict anything that this Bazball kind of team does? They're just as likely to go, yeah, Shoaib, you've not been in India for a week. Have a test cap. You'll go out and take 5 for, or 7 for even, and we'll go 2-0 up in the series. Like, who could possibly bet against it? But I think then it would be between Wood and Leach, with more reliance on Root bowling as a third spinner, I think, is the way I would look at it. And the batting obviously stays unchanged. There's no chance that you change that top 6 or top 7.
Yeah, and I mean, Root was brilliant, wasn't he? He's got a brilliant record and average in India. I think below 25 from what I remember seeing. To say that he kind of led the spin attack alongside Leach from an experience point of view, was pretty. I mean, fair play to him. We've obviously seen him take wickets in the subcontinent before, but I thought Root was quality. In helping the team out, as he took 4 wickets in the first innings, didn't he? And touche. We'll see what they do.
Batting all-rounder now. I think he is a genuine batting all-rounder. I don't know how many test wickets he's got, but it wouldn't surprise me if he finishes his career with 100 test wickets across. I mean, he's going to play for another 3 or 4, isn't he, at least, I would say. And the spin bowling seems to be getting better. but then again, having all said that, I wouldn't be upset if England were unchanged going into the second test, if the conditions suit, of course. But I don't know. The next question, I guess, really, just to kind of round off the podcast and to round off this little part of it is, I mean, what do India do? On two parts, really. What do India do with the selection? We know that Kohli's not around until the third one. He's made himself unavailable for the first two. So unless they bring in Patidar, but I would guess they would stick with their batting lineup. With the experience of Rahul, Shubman Gill's played a lot of Test cricket. Jaiswal's done nothing wrong. Rohit's obviously the captain. That works, I think. What do they do with what do they ask the pitch curators to do? Do they create another one that brings England's three spinners into the game like they did with this one? And then clearly that kind of negates the absolute skill and wizardry of Ashwin, Jadeja and Akshar, because then the England boys can go and do something relatively similar and get the same level of assistance. Do they prepare a flat pitch? Do they prepare an absolute motorway of a pitch and just try and bat England out the game? India win the toss, bat first, 700 for something, like doubles for Rohit, big ones from KL, and then over the course of the next 2.5-3 days, they just bowl England out through pure attrition because just volume of overs and deliveries from Ashwin. I don't know. Let's talk about the pitch first. What do you reckon? Which way do you reckon they go?
I'd like to see something similar. I think it was a good test. Obviously, it kept its level of spiciness, didn't it, with its variable bounce. And obviously, turn. It's India. I think you want to see players playing against spin and testing themselves. Obviously, against that trio in Jadeja, Ashwin, and Akshar Patel is a really good battle for the England batters, and I think credit to them the way that they took the positive approach against them, utilising the sweeps, etc. I don't think I'd want to see a flat pitch in the second test. I hope that that's not the case. More bat v ball battles.
Yeah, it's a risk though. You win the toss and you bat first on it as India, and you're looking like a really good place. As we saw in Chennai in 2021, England win the toss and bat first on it. Brute double hundreds, and whoever else contributed in that game, I can't remember without looking at the scorecard. Then India are kind of staring down the barrel of a late 600s kind of score. And the other thing as well, it's going to happen bloody quickly with this England team if it was to happen. So there'd be so much time left in the game to pick up in 20 Indian wickets. So it is a risk to go that way around. But I agree with you. I think what I would love to see is a similar kind of pitch. Do I want to see it any dustier? Probably not. I don't think so. I think it was about perfect, really. It did turn from day one and great. Like the spinners bowled well and took wickets. You could still bowl seam on it and be successful. Just look at Jasprit Bumrah through that test match. You could score runs out there if you applied yourself. Look at Ollie Pope. It was a good test pitch. And what do you think about the playing 11? Do you think India make any changes? Is there a knee-jerk reaction to this Bazball mindset? Have India seen something in this first test, fans, players, management, that they didn't actually expect to see? They've obviously spoken a lot about it. They've been really positive about the fact that they think it brings themselves into the game a lot more. But are they a little bit now kind of, oh, wow, this thing's actually real. It's not just a newspaper headline. There's something about this bunch.
Yeah, and I think we touched on it last week about how Sharma, in particular as captain, was going to respond to England's approach and kind of the way that they go about their business, and they were clearly rattled. And you can even see the way that they lost their last few wickets. Obviously, I guess there was a little bit of time pressure, knowing that it probably wasn't going to go to tomorrow. In all fairness, but I don't know if they change the team. I don't know. I think they could be quite happy in keeping the team the same. Personally, as you say, had those batters that got themselves in India's first innings just applied themselves in the same way that Ollie Pope did, then we could have been looking at this test match in a slightly different vein. And they have the home advantage in the conditions. So I don't know. I think if I was Rohit Sharma, I'd just be asking, for a little bit more application. If you get yourself in, like, just be greedy, be selfish.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But yeah, it's good that they're rattled, and you can see, yeah, it's worked out well for England in that they've got in the Indians' heads in the first Test match and won.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. My final point, Joe, before we kind of call this a day, was Siraj, was he the right pick? I know Shami, I don't think Shami's fit right now, but India went in with 2 seamers. England only went in with 1 and had the 4 spinners. Do they regret picking Siraj? He's bowled, what's he bowled? 7 overs. He's bowled 11 overs in the match. And I think he's wicketless. He's wicketless in 11 overs. Not out in the first innings. He's clearly not there for his batting, is he? 12 off 20 in the second one. Could there have been an argument to have picked Kuldeep? Could they have gone for 4 spinners? Potentially that's an option for them in the 4th test. If, of course, the conditions are right, then maybe it gives Rowett another option and might be a slightly more wicket-taking option. I think Siraj is class, but just a final kind of thought on it.